Your Tesla runs on oil. Yeah, I said it. That clean electric car you bought to save the planet? It's powered by the exact same fossil fuels you thought you were escaping. You genuinely believed you were done with big oil, didn't you? Everyone loves a redemption story, right? Dirty oil companies finally seeing the light, going green, saving the planet. Zero emissions, clean energy, the future. Fuck yeah. 14 million electric cars sold globally in 2023. Governments threw more than $30 billion in subsidies at this so-called revolution every single year. You felt good about yourself. Where does that electricity come from? Let me guess. Magic clean energy fairies? No. 60% fossil fuels. Coal, gas. Your battery's production alone dumped 10 to 15 tons of CO2 before the car drove a single mile. That lithium in your battery? Pumped from Chilean desert using 500,000 gallons of water per ton. Clean, yeah. The cobalt? UNICEF says 40,000 kids in Congo mines, 8-year-olds digging with their bare hands for $2 a day. But hey, you're saving the planet. BP owns 22,000 charging stations across Europe, the largest network. You charge your clean car at a BP station. Shell invested $800 million in Australian lithium. Same Shell, same money, different PR. Tesla made $1.8 billion selling carbon credits to other automakers in 2023 alone. It's a fucking racket. The battery market? $400 billion. China controls 80%. You thought you escaped big oil? You just bought their new product line. This isn't a revolution. It's a rebrand. Same players, new uniform. They sold you guilt, then sold you the solution. Classic manipulation. You wanted to do the right thing. They exploited that. So how did big oil pull off the greatest greenwashing scam in history? Let me show you exactly how this con works, with names, dates, and dollar amounts. February 9th, 2021, London, BP headquarters. The CEO stood on stage and said the words climate activists had waited decades to hear. We're going carbon neutral. $25 billion into EV charging infrastructure by 2030, the largest green investment in company history. The room erupted, standing ovation from environmental groups. Finally, big oil saw the light. Bernard Looney, the guy who spent 28 years drilling oil in the Gulf of Mexico, Azerbaijan, North Sea, his entire career, find oil, extract oil, sell oil. And now he's your eco-warrior? Really? The official story? BP had a moral epiphany. They looked at the melting ice caps and said, we need to change. It's not about money, it's about legacy, about doing the right thing. Sure, and I'm the Queen of England. Wait, stop. BP's oil production from 2021 to 2023? Up 12%. They invested $25 billion in green energy. Great. They also invested $65 billion in new oil fields during the same period. So, green transition or PR stunt? Their carbon neutral plan? Buy credits. $2.3 billion in carbon offsets from forest projects in Indonesia that don't actually offset shit. Bloomberg investigated in 2023. Most projects don't reduce emissions at all. It's an accounting trick. You pollute here, claim you planted trees there. Net zero on paper. Not actually cleaner, just cleaner spreadsheets. Oh, and those charging stations BP built? 22,000 across Europe, 35% market share, largest operator. You thought you escaped the gas station? But now you're charging at a BP station. Same company, different pump, same dependency. They didn't lose the fuel monopoly. They just redefined what fuel means. Something doesn't add up. If this was really about saving the planet, why the contradictions? Unless it was never about the planet. To understand what BP is actually doing, you need to rewind 50 years, to the moment Big Oil realized oil would run out. Stop. Forget BP's charging stations for a second. To understand this scam, you need to see the pattern. This isn't new. It's the oldest trick in the corporate playbook. Rewind 50 years, October 1973. Arab nations cut oil to the West. Overnight, gas prices quadrupled, from $3 per barrel to $12. Lines at every station, rationing. The economy froze. Big Oil had a realization that day. Oil is finite. We need the next monopoly. In the 90s, GM built an electric car, the EV1. It worked. People loved it. 1,117 cars produced. Between 1996 and 1999. Then, in 2003, GM crushed every single one. Destroyed. Why? Because Chevron bought the battery patents in 2001 and killed the tech. NIMH batteries, the ones that could have powered EVs 20 years ago, blocked. They weren't ready to switch yet. Oil was still too profitable, but they knew batteries were coming. So they controlled the patents, waited for the right moment. Like a drug cartel. You don't kill your cocaine business until you've secured the fentanyl supply chain. By 2010, China controlled 95% of rare earth metal production, the stuff you need for electric motors. Big Oil saw it. The future isn't stopping cars, it's controlling the new fuel. 20th century, control the Middle East, control oil, control transportation. 21st century, control Africa and South America, control battery metals, control the future. Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the poorest nations on Earth. 70% of global cobalt. 3.6 million tons in reserves. Cobalt mines in Congo. 40,000 children. UNICEF counted them. Kids 8 years old digging tunnels with their hands for $1 to $2 a day. No helmets, no safety. Tunnels collapse regularly. 80% of that cobalt goes to China for battery production. Meanwhile, in Chile, the Atacama Desert, world's driest place, 9.3 million tons of lithium reserves, 25% of the global supply. They're pumping 500,000 gallons of water to extract 1 ton of lithium. Local farmers? Their wells ran dry. Entire communities lost access to water. But hey, your Tesla battery is clean. Same playbook. Poor country, corrupt government, no environmental rules. Western corporations extract the resources. Nothing changed except the mineral. A battery isn't just lithium. 3 ingredients: lithium, cobalt, rare earths. Think of a battery like a Big Mac. You need the bun, the patty, the special sauce. McDonald's doesn't own farms everywhere. They control specific suppliers. Same with batteries. Lithium is the bun. Light, essential, grows in specific deserts. Chile, Australia, Argentina. Cobalt is the meat. Stabilizes the battery. Prevents fires. 70% from one country. The Democratic Republic of Congo. Rare earths are the special sauce. You need them for electric motors, magnets. China processes 90%. Control the lithium mines in Chile, cobalt in Congo, rare earth processing in China. You own the whole burger. And unlike oil, which came from 30-plus countries, battery metals, 5 countries control 80% of supply. Way easier to lock down. Oil's top 3 producers: USA, Saudi Arabia, Russia. That's only 40% of global production. Battery metals top 3? 63% for lithium, 77% for cobalt. It's like McDonald's. Control the bun factory, the meat supplier, the sauce recipe. You control the burger. So who controls this supply chain? Glencore, Swiss commodities giant. They control 30% of global cobalt through Congo mines. Katanga Mining, Mutanda, both in Congo. Chinese companies. CATL makes 37% of the world's batteries. $160 billion market cap. BYD is number 2, backed by Warren Buffett. CMOC, China Molybdenum, largest cobalt producer on the planet. Mines in Congo. BP, investing more than $500 million in Australian lithium miners. Shell, same. Tesla doesn't make batteries. They buy them from CATL, from China. 100% dependency. Same corporations, new resources, tighter control. With oil, at least you had 30 suppliers. With batteries, 5 companies control everything. Now you see it. BP's $25 billion wasn't charity. It was market capture. They're not leaving the fuel business. They're monopolizing the new fuel business. Control lithium mines, cobalt supply, charging infrastructure, full vertical integration. Just like oil, they controlled the wells, the refineries, the gas stations. Now, the mines, the batteries, the charging stations. Same model, better margins, greener branding. Electric cars don't kill big oil. They are big oil 2.0. But here's the genius part. They made you think it was your idea. But there's a problem. You can't just announce this. People will resist. So how do you make them want your new product? How do you sell dependency as freedom? That's where the real manipulation begins. Remember Bernard Looney? February 2021, London. $25 billion for green energy. Now you understand the context. Oil to batteries, Middle East to Congo. But here's what they didn't tell you that day. The actual money flow, the real transaction. Let's talk money, real money. U.S. government, $7,500 federal tax credit per electric car. Sounds nice for buyers, right? Except most of that money ends up with manufacturers. $30 billion since 2010. Total EV subsidies in the USA. Europe threw in another 20 billion euros in EV subsidies between 2015 and 2025. UK government, £1.3 billion in charging infrastructure grants from 2020 to 2025. BP received more than £500 million in UK government grants to build charging stations. Shell received more than €300 million from EU grants for green transition. Tesla? $3.5 billion in total subsidies, federal plus state. Between 2010 and 2023, Elon didn't build that empire alone. You paid for it. Taxpayer money funding Big Oil's next monopoly. Big Oil wasn't going green out of morality. They were paid to go green. With your tax money. BP took €500 million in UK grants. Shell took €300 million from EU. Tesla? $3.5 billion in total subsidies. You're funding their monopoly transition. Now, the carbon credit scam. Here's how it works. You pollute, I plant a tree, we call it even. Except the tree doesn't get planted. or it dies, or it was already there. Global carbon credits market, $850 billion in 2024. BP bought $2.3 billion in carbon offsets between 2021 and 2024 from Indonesian forest projects. Bloomberg investigated in 2023. Most projects don't reduce emissions at all. Meanwhile, Tesla made $9 billion selling carbon credits to other automakers. Total. Between 2016 and 2023, $1.8 billion in 2023 alone. Ford, GM, Fiat, they buy credits from Tesla to meet EPA standards. Tesla's profit margin on credits? Nearly 100%. It's free money. Credits cost $15 to $30 per ton of CO2. Real emission reduction? Near zero. Most offset schemes aren't even verified. Who created this system? Oil industry lobbyists in the 1990s. Carbon credits are a scam. You pollute, buy a credit, claim you're carbon neutral. BP spent $2.3 billion on credits from fake forest projects. Tesla made $9 billion selling credits to competitors. It's not about reducing emissions. It's about trading permission slips to pollute. Who designed this system? Not environmentalists, oil lobbyists. 1997. Kyoto Protocol negotiations. Carbon trading was born. Guess who pushed for it? Shell, BP, ExxonMobil. They wanted carbon credits because it meant they could keep polluting. American Petroleum Institute, lobby group representing BP, Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil. They spent more than $100 million per year lobbying between 2010 and 2024. ExxonMobil internal memo leaked in 2015. Carbon trading preserves our business model. Shell's chief lobbyist at COP21 Paris in 2015 actively lobbied for carbon markets. They wrote the rules, then pretended to play by them. Here's the moment it clicks. 2013. Tesla was dying. $30 million in cash, weeks from bankruptcy. What saved them? Carbon credits. $68 million revenue from credits in Q2 2013 alone. For 7 years, Tesla's only profit came from selling credits, not cars. Tesla automotive gross margin, negative or close to zero between 2012 and 2019. Net profit from carbon credits? 100% of total profit. From 2013 to 2019. First profitable year without credits, 2020. In 2023, Tesla's automotive profit was $15 billion, but carbon credits added $1.8 billion, 12% of net profit. Elon Musk isn't a revolutionary. He's a beneficiary. Big Oil built the system. Tesla monetized it. Every Ford that fails emission standards pays Tesla $5,000 to $10,000 in credits. Elon cashed the checks. So who won? BP, 500 million pounds in grants, now makes 800 million euros a year from charging stations by 2025. Shell, 300 million euros in grants, $800 million invested in lithium projects. Tesla, $12.5 billion total government support, $3.5 billion in subsidies, plus $9 billion in carbon credits. Chinese battery makers, $400 billion market, 80% control. CATL market cap, $160 billion. Big Oil didn't lose. They won. Better margins than oil. 25 to 35% on charging infrastructure versus 5 to 10% on refining. Tighter monopoly. 5 companies control the supply chain. You thought you were saving the planet. You funded their upgrade. And that's the scam. Taxpayer money, climate guilt, government subsidies, carbon credit laundering, all to fund big oil's transition to an even more profitable monopoly. Now let's talk about what this means for you. So let's count the bodies. Who lost? You. You bought a $60,000 Tesla thinking you were done with big oil. You charge it at a BP station. The battery was mined by children in Congo. The electricity comes from a coal plant. You paid for the privilege of feeling good. Who won? BP. £500 million in grants. 800 million euros a year from charging. Shell. Tesla. $12.5 billion in government support. Chinese battery makers. $400 billion market. Same corporations. Bigger profits. Tighter control. Remember the tobacco companies? After decades of lawsuits, cancer deaths, public outrage, they didn't disappear. They rebranded. Started selling vapes. It's healthier, they said. It's the future. Same nicotine, same addiction. Same companies, just cleaner marketing. That's exactly what big oil did with electric cars. They didn't lose the war on climate change. They won it. You wanted to punish them by switching to EVs. They sold you the EVs. Same dependency, same corporations, greener package. BP didn't stop being an oil company. They became an energy company, which means they control whatever powers your car. Oil, electricity, doesn't matter. The product changed. The monopoly didn't. You thought you were escaping. You just switched dealers. This information won't make you happier. It won't get your money back, won't change the system. Your Tesla is still in the driveway. BP still owns the charging station down the street. But at least now you know. Next time a corporation says they're going green, ask one question. Who profits? Not in some abstract way, physically, materially. Follow the money. Follow the resources. Climate guilt is a product. They're selling it. You're buying it. The planet isn't being saved. A new monopoly is being built. And you funded it. With your tax dollars, your car payment, your moral superiority. Welcome to the green transition. Same masters, new caller. Does it suck? Yeah. But at least you're not delusional anymore. And maybe, just maybe, that's worth something.